What's going on? Hanzo Nowhere here. Acoustics are great here. This video. Fucking mic. Don't need one for this one. All right. I wanted to get into the topic of holding court. Really, just basic frame control shit, but it's applied to a group scenario. And yeah, I just had this happen to me. I just went through one of these again. It's gonna happen a lot. So don't. It's not like a once in a lifetime event that happens. Like, oh man, I just held court. Woo! I just haven't been going out a lot. I've been focusing on other shit. And but I'm back. I'm back, and I'm here to stay. No, I'm just playing. Um, so holding court, it's the same as an approach. There's just a lot of moving parts, and the key here, like, we're just gonna cut straight to the chase. We're just gonna get straight into it. The key about holding court when it's a group, when you're doing the group, whether it's strangers, or it's a group you know or you're acquainted with, is just keeping your wits about you. It's the same as any other approach. They want validation, all that kind of shit, attention, being witty. And what's the main thing with an approach that's important, that applies to group even more? The eyes are on you. Okay, like, you shouldn't be thinking like, oh man, they're all fucking watching me and judging me. It's true, but that's the last thing you want to think. I mean, there's a lot of different truths to that whole situation, but that's just one of them, and it's gonna be the one that's evident the most if you suck. It's gonna be the harshest one. Like, if you don't suck though, and you're good at holding court, you're good at, like, attracting the correct amount of attention towards you in that kind of scenario, you won't even think that people fucking are judging you at all. You'll think people are amazing. Like, truly, like, people that attract a lot of people typically have positive outviews on people in general, and I don't think that's by mistake at all. That's by design, one way or another. Anyways, back to the topic though. So one of the main things in an approach that you really have to capitalize on, really just any human interaction, self-qualification, qualification in general. Don't do it, bro. Like, look, it's the oldest fucking trick in the book. Don't do it. Just throw that shit out of there, bro. Like, do not self-qualify. All right, I'm not trying to do too many theatrics, but I cannot stress enough. Like, bro, once you start seeing self-qualification for yourself and you know not to do it, it's like watching a toddler, like, fucking draw a crayon on a fucking white wall. It's like, oh my god. You don't want to be condescending, you want to be understanding, but damn, bro, don't do it. Okay, so what's self-qualification? It's like, okay, for example, there's a guy trying to hook up with a girl tonight, and it was two groups of girls, two groups of guys. It was two girls, four guys, right? So clearly some cockfighting going on over here. Who's gonna end up with the two girls? Okay, I didn't end up with the girl, but to be fair, I'm not trying to get with this girl. That's all I'm gonna put out. Okay, you can leave that up to interpretation for why I don't want to be with this girl. So yeah, we'll leave it like that. To be fair, I know them, but whatever. Dude asked my friend who's trying to get with one of the girls. He's like, man, you're 30? You didn't seem 30 to me. You seem so young. My friend takes the bait. Oh god, he takes the bait. Nah, man, I'm 30. Like, I got a good paying job and shit. Like, I'm fucking 30. And throughout the whole interaction, just continues to go down this rabbit hole. Like, before this interaction, he was set to fuck. Like, I don't even know why he came into the interaction. He should have just took the girl and left. But he wanted to get a little bit more fun in his night or whatever. Key thing as well. Like, you should know when the girl's ready to fuck. Don't try to, like, maximize the attraction. If she's hot and ready to go, she's hot and ready to go. Okay, it's like cooking food. You put a little bit too much heat onto it, you're gonna burn it. And it's better not burnt in the first place. At least it leaves it time to be cooked again. So in that case, if you care about it being edible or fuckable, we'll do the parallels like that. Don't burn it, because once you burn it, it's really hard to eat it later. Okay, if anything, leave it a little uncooked, and if it's not cooking, add a little bit more heat. Okay, you go too far, it's redeemable, but if you ain't got advanced skill set, it's a little tougher, a little more time consuming, because you'll just fall into the same habits that, you'll fall into qualifying most likely. You got to learn how to try hard without trying hard, and that's what the advanced skill set would provide you. I'm not going to really get into what all that is here, but I will in another video, no doubt. But just basic fundamental shit. Don't self-qualify. What should he have done? I don't know what specifically he should have said, but the mindset he should have took that with is I'm not trying to prove this guy wrong. Oh, I am old. He doesn't think I'm old. I gotta show him that I'm old. No, what the fuck? Because, okay, he should test me. I said a slang term, an urban slang term, referencing a sleeper build. Immediately looks at me. He's like, oh man, you spend too much time on TikTok. Oh man. And I felt the urge. I was like, I don't even go on TikTok. I don't spend a fucking single second on TikTok unless I'm posting for myself to market. Bro, I don't have time for TikTok. That's the truth. Did I say that to him? Fuck no. You know exactly what I said? I said, oh man, yeah. I scour the internet. I scour the internet for these terms, bro. I found out Urban Dictionary. I was waiting all night to say it. Not only was it cooler, but it got the whole group to laugh. And I got him to try to be my friend, because when you don't self-qualify, guess what? It makes him look try hard. And when they look try hard, a lot of guys have a tendency to go either way more aggressive or submissive. And typically at the end, it'll eventually reach submissive if there's girls on the line. If there's something at stake, they'll typically just go submissive. So keep that in mind. And, it's funny. I'm rusty. I don't know. There's certain things I just don't understand as to why I was having initially I was having a bad response with a lot of the locals that know me. I'm a little rusty. And it's all good. It's not even a big deal. And this is the power of holding court and not self-qualifying. By the end of that whole conversation, I had just about everyone except one person qualifying to me for my attention and validation. Okay, I mean, it was bad before that. I wasn't stressed about it. It's just another day in the office for me. But they were oh fuck it, why do we even listen to this guy? Oh god, shut the fuck up, mean shit. Oh god. But that's just the way it goes. And that might sound bad and that might discourage you, but is it really real? You can take that as a part of your identity. Oh man, do I need to shut the fuck up? Bro, at the end of the day, when they're sitting there fucking on their hands and knees, and this isn't some kind of weird power trip, but this is just the reality of it a little bit. I didn't not qualify to get them chasing me. I just didn't qualify because you got two options. It's qualify or don't qualify. I'm not going to qualify. Sorry. In some cases, I will qualify. I don't give a fuck. But that case, I wasn't going to qualify. For the sake of practice, at least. Shit. Yeah, but at the end of the interaction, if, think about it. If they're fucking hating, they're literally trying to shut you out. And then you just don't qualify. And then by that time, you let the interaction run maybe for 20 minutes. They're over there fucking sitting here trying to strike individual conversations, cutting each other off to fucking talk to you, clawing to get into your field of attention. That's the power of self-qualification. That's the power. Hello. How's it going? Sorry, security. But that's the power of not Sorry, security. This shit threw me off. I thought I was gonna get kicked out, but he just said hi to me. Hey, who knows? Maybe it's because I didn't qualify. Maybe it's because I was just like cool about it. Like, hey. Nah. What was I talking about? Self-qualification. Yeah. That's the power of just keeping the basic fundamentals intact. Especially with this kind of skill set. Just know the fundamentals, bro. Like, there's no point in not. You should never, look, do you want to know what qualifying signals and what it probably does actually mean about you if you do qualify? If you feel the need to say things and prove yourself to people, it means you're probably not sure about it in the fucking first place. If that's true, if that's not true, it could vary, but most likely it's true. Like, if you feel sometimes you can state things, that's fine. I'm not saying don't state things to people, but it's the context around when you're stating it in front of people that will matter, as opposed to how they look at you. Okay, I hope that's not too complex, but there's nothing wrong with stating things. But if you're trying to have a good interaction and have people valuing your validation and attention and your time, if you want people to value your time and space, that's all that means. Validation. If you want people to value your time and space and just respect you in general, and really at night not disrespect you, or if they're a super hot girl, that's not even true. If they're just a narcissistic person and you want them kind of to respect you, they have to respect your time and space. That's the validation. They have to value your validation. That's just how their brain works. You might be one of those people. I personally could kind of care less. It's not because I'm enlightened or nothing. It's just I'm not really trying to social climb. I like getting what I can get from the social environment and just having a good time in general. That's kind of my MO nowadays. It might change, who knows? And it's tiring to social climb. But anyways, yeah, so when you self-qualify, it pretty much signals that, you're needy as fuck for people to believe in what you believe in, because if they don't believe in it, you don't believe in it yourself. When you don't self-qualify, and there's a lot of ways to not self-qualify. You could go the route of indulging the person. You could go the route of just completely ignoring the person. This isn't a technique video. This is more of a theory video. I can go into the techniques later in another video. But, yeah, dude, when you don't fucking... you could ignore the person, go into it. You could mock them. You could just talk over them. There's just so many ways. It can be a little bit of a power trip, I'm not gonna lie, because it's funny as fuck. But don't self-qualify, because what it signals when you don't self-qualify, it doesn't signal that fucking you're better. It kind of signals there's no... How's it going? You need me to get out? Okay, I got you. All right, cutting this short. Okay, security definitely just got me kicked out. Happens. It happens. He's right there looking at me. Might get sued. But hey, just to recap though, what it does signal when you don't self-qualify is that it's a reframe. Okay, look, the truth is not your fucking... This does not mean lie. But really, the truth isn't it isn't your friend. Trying to be objective in a social situation isn't socially savvy most of the time. Conflict resolution, fine. I'm just gonna finish this in right here. But honestly, actually, we'll do it in here. But realistically, though, being subjective is a lot better. So what's going on in their head when you don't self-qualify isn't oh man, I was being a dick and now I'm an incompetent dick. Okay. Yeah, I love that example, actually. That is one that I learned elsewhere, but oh, I'm an incompetent dick and I just need to stop being a dick. No, it's not like that. They reframe it like, oh man, he's cool, fuck, he likes to have fun, even though they were trying to be a dick. But it's more likely they're gonna re-rationalize it in their head, and that might be demoralizing. It might be like demoralizing for whoever it is, but in that case, that's something you got to soul search within yourself, whether you want to do this whole thing anyways. Because look, getting a clear look at human nature through experience and repetition is not what it seems like. You have to accept it for what it is, and you might not like what you see, but you'll understand more, and you'll be able to, like, I hate using these kind of power trippy terms, but you can kind of tap into kind of like that immovable object or that unstoppable force kind of energy a little bit, and it really, you give yourself more agency to do you. So yeah, don't self-qualify. I mean, whether it's solo interaction or holding court, when people see you don't self-qualify in court or group, I like calling it court because it's fancy, it's funny. Like in a group setting, like a group conversation where everyone's pinging back and forth, just throwing random topics into the ether, sending out approval or rejection on topics. Don't, like, when you don't self-qualify, it signals that people are reacting to you, and the way our brains work, the way our monkey, like, evolutionary brain works, not monkey, but evolutionary brain works, is that, oh shit, this guy's got people reacting to him, so that means he must be of high value. Rarely in human interaction do people put 1 and 1 together. It's usually 1 and 1 times 1 for them to get it. It's some super extra shit. People learn off of secondhand information way more off of direct information. If you can paint yourself indirectly in a good light, it'll come across way better than painting yourself directly, like trying to directly paint yourself in a good light, because ultimately it falls into qualification. Qualification is everywhere. It is everywhere. And I advise you start looking for examples of it. Don't go crazy. Like, don't get paranoid. Like, oh my God, this guy qualifies. He must not be of, like, value. It's not that, like, stating objective facts are fine. It's just certain social environments, most fun ones, they just have negative views on that kind of behavior. If you go to a lecture room, qualification and proving your point and debating even is like factually debating is the way to go. Qualify yourself. Yes, you must be qualified. It's in the word. But if not, don't do it. You're out at night. Girls will bait you with this shit too. You can tell a girl, like, what you do for work, but sometimes, a lot of times, it's a lot in the delivery. A lot of times they're just trying to get you to qualify, like, especially if they can tell you have money or you're well-to-do or you're diligent. They're like, what do you do? And you'll be like, oh man, I do this really cool thing. You're like, huh? And like, I had that happen last night. I was just casually talking to a girl, but she thought it was like sexual or whatever at a party, and I could see like her getting turned off as I talked about a lot of the cool projects I've taken a part of, like, oh yeah, I work on like film and like she's like, oh, you would think, right? Like, you tell somebody, oh, I work on film, but they'd be like, yeah. I mean, you can do that, but it has to be like with a passionate, I don't give a fuck, almost like a fucking belligerent passion that would indicate you really aren't self-qualifying. You're almost like not even talking to her. You're telling the universe that you do that shit. Then that would work. But if it's not congruent, I wouldn't even suggest it. Just, a lot of the times when I tell girls, oh, I'm a male stripper, that's like a stock community line. Like, every pickup artist uses that fucking line nowadays because it works. It's so ridiculous. I work at Taco Bell. Oh, fuck. I'm a fucking janitor. I'm a stay-at-home son. Like, some great ones out there. Be careful with the last one. I'm still testing that one. You can't go too self-deprecating. It's not okay. It's not about being self-deprecating, okay? Because you do that too much, it's over, bro. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is a self-hating fucking loser." Like, the key here is just showing you don't give a fuck and getting back to normal conversation, okay? All right. Well, this video is over now. Got kicked off of whatever site I was on. Till next time, hopefully I get kicked off the next one too.